Thank you. Thank you. You want some tea?
No, thank you. What's your name?
If you're talking, let's get to the tea. My name is. What's your name?
Alan.
Nice to meet you.
How many times you? Alan.
So today's the yum. That's all. You like it?
Yeah, today's a beautiful Ayom Yom, but we got to get started on the Shulchan Aruch.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we very told.
Siman Shimon Tes. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shakal midvarim.
Amen.
Din arba amas b'shus harabim. Well, later. I'll start off with the tea. Thank you. We see that Chazal made a special thing about the 4 amas that is around the person. And this touches dinim in Oirachayim, in Yoredeya, in Even Ezer, in the Choshe Mishpat. One of the big things Chazal said is Dalad Amas Koinesley. If something is within your Dalad Amas, it belongs to you. Chazal said that the Dalad Amas is Medin Chotzer. Just like whatever is in your Chotzer, your Koine, the same thing, what's in your Dalad Amas. The Rashba asks a question, and the Beis Yosef brings it in the Choshe Mishpat Shin Mem Tes. I don't understand. How could the Dakonis Chachamim be better than the original din? The original din of a chotzer is a chotzer she'ena mishtameres. A chotzer she'ena mishtameres, you have to stand there and say Zochseli Sadi. You have to say that my son is Zochelis.
So
How come in your Dalad Amas it's even better? So the Beis Yosef said that the reason why they made Dalad Amas they lost a limb to you because they didn't want people to fight. So if you have to call it, again, people are going to fight. I called it. I didn't follow. Who gets the parking space? I was here before. I was here first. So
Dalad Amas is yours.
they said Dalad Amas is first. Is yours. Okay.
in America, we say 6 feet or 3 feet. Now it's 8 feet. So this is that the same thing? 3 feet,
No,
6
4
feet?
amas is probably about 6 feet.
That's what they say. Jonathan, 6 feet. So
So it depends how you count an amma. It could be it's approximately about 6 feet. So they said okay because Chachamim didn't want me. But the question remained: how could Chachamim make it better than the Chotzer? The Shed should be kind of the Chotzer. The Rebbe had once an unbelievable talk. Yutas Kislev Tavshin Chavav. Yutas Kislev 66 is printed later in a booklet called Kuntres and Yonah Shel Torah Chassidus, and we gave out a free copy to everyone that came to the Yutas Kislev Fabrengen. It was about 10 years ago, and it's an unbelievable essay about the Yonah Shel Torah Chassidus. He learns about the idea of Moedani, Bipshat, Remes, Drush, Soid, and how Torah Chassidus gives a special light in the Pshat and the Remes and the Drush and the Soid. Unbelievable. An unbelievable essay. The end of the Sikha, the Rebbe talks about this. The Rebbe says that Api Chassidus, the idea of Dalad Amas of a person is like this. The Gemara says that a person really is 3 amas. What it says in native, a person is really 3 amas. The average person is 3 amas. That means, again, if you say 3 amas, if an amma is about it's about 5 feet. Jews are not that tall. About 5 feet, a little less than 5 feet. Is the average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, in general, humanity grew a little bit. I don't know spiritually, but
Yeah, I think there was a Uriah said there were spiritually.
but physically people, as we know from all excavations all over the world, that 2,000 years ago, the average person was a foot and a half shorter than today. So, the average height of a person was about 5 feet or less. 5 feet or less. They also lived a nice couple of years shorter too. So, and then the Gemara says, but he has a hand, and the average person from the elbow till the edge of this finger is an amma, and he uses his hand to reach out. So that makes a person that's big 4 amos. The person is big 4 amos. And that's why they said that there's 4 amos that belong to the person. If a person lay down on the floor and spread out his hand, he has 4 amos. Chassidus says the 3 amos is keneged nefesh ruach neshama. The 4th amma is chaya. And when a person wants to acquire something, why does a Jew want to get something? Why do I want the bottle of seltzer? Because I want to make a bracha, shahakol, and to elevate the sporks and kedusha that are sitting in the bubbles. So that's why I want to drink to the first place. So everything I want to acquire is in order to use l'shem shamayim. Why does a yid want a chapotzim? Is in order to use it l'shem shamayim. So that's why yid. So trying to be koine things. So that the deepest level, the neshama, which is the 5th level, the yechida kicks in at that point. When a person wants to acquire something in order to use it l'shem shamayim, the yechida of the neshama kicks in. That's why Dalad Amos are koine to him shaloi medas.
You said the 5th level. You said there are 4 amos, but where
The 3 amos are shaykh to the person. Nefesh ruach neshama is revealed in the person. Chaya, which is the 4th level, is not mamish revealed in the person, but surrounds the person. Yechid is a koyach, which is unbelievable.
in the person.
It's not even surrounding him. It surrounds the surrounding. But when sometimes a person needs an extra koyach, the yechida kicks in. So what is shayach to the person?
We call that the neshama, that the neshama goes
Right.
beyond the goal.
The
Is that a way of-
Zoya says the neshama has 5 parts. The Medrash says Chamisha Shemes Nikrala, that there's 4 names and really 5 names. Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, Chai, Yechida. That Arizal's Megala and Toras Hasoy, it's not 5 names. Reuben, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar is all for the same guy. Nefesh is the lowest level than Neshama. Ruach is a higher level than Neshama. Neshama is a higher level than Neshama. And these 3 levels in Neshama, you could sense, you could feel. Mostly we operate on Nefesh, but also Ruach and Neshama is connected to the person. Chaya is elusive. It surrounds us, but we're not always in contact. Yechida is unbelievably, it's elusive, shell elusive. It's mamish, it's very, but it kicks in sometimes when we need that extra power. So that a person is trying to go out of himself to be koina chayfetz in order to use it l'shem shamayim. So that's when the yechida kicks in. And that's why Dalad Amos are koina, because Dalad Amos is keneged nefesh, ruach, neshama. And the 4th Amma is keneged chaya, which is reaching out even more, which is the idea of the makiv of the person. And when he needs to be koina chayfetz, the yechida kicks in. Now, yechida works in a higher level than das. It's more than das. It's much deeper than das. Therefore, kinyan chotzer is only if it's a chotzer sheinem is mishtameres. He has to say tzachsali soda. Person has to consciously say, "You see this tzvi, which is limping, which went into my field. Tzachsali sodi belongs to me." But if he didn't say tzachsali sodi, he's not going to. Has to make. He has to be.
The doesn't go automatically.
No, chotzer sheinem mishtameres doesn't do it automatically. No.
Oh, it has to be fenced because then otherwise the tree could run out.
Right. But if it's my daladamas, even if there's no fence, I'm still koina. Why? Because why is the daladamas koina pisoid is because when the nefesh ruach neshama chaya are trying to capture an object l'shem shamayim in order to bring it into gvula kedusha, the yechida kicks in to help out. And yechida operates medas or shaloi medas, even without das. Yechida is very powerful. Yechida doesn't need das. Yechida operates the connection of a Jew and Hashem on the level of Yechidas, even if he doesn't understand and it makes no sense. He's ready to have Mesiras Nefesh. It makes no sense, but he's dedicated to the Eibishter.
Rabbi, why it's called Chaya? Chaya is a behemoth.
Chaya, no.
It's Chayut, I know.
Yeah, a behema is not a chaya, and a chaya is not a behema. A behema is a behema, and a chaya is a chaya.
What's the difference?
You insulted the chaya now that you called it a behema.
No, you're talking about the extra koach that you need.
Right.
In the army, you feel it sometimes. You're on a mission or something, and you don't know where you're standing, and all of a sudden you're getting something. I had it a lot of times, but I felt something extra.
Wow.
So you want to know what level that is? Which one?
Right.
You want to know if that's
Unbelievable.
high, Yechida, or which one is that?
The one, the extra one?
Yeah, let's-
Probably Yechida.
Like, let's say an elderly lady picks up a card from her grandson, that's Yechida?
No.
She's like,
That's a mace.
uh-huh.
So let's learn now about the din of the Daled Amas of a person. Harry, get a book for yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, give it to me.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Mace, Sadik, Al.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So Meshemem Tess.
On the left.
Wait, is it every Jew is $4?
Every Yid, there's no
Every Yid.
exception.
$4 in our store.
God is in heaven.
No.
God has the hand, one arm.
Every store belongs to the Yid,
Yeah.
and every Jew has $4.
Yeah. Sheikh is coming, and that's it. The Palestinians are going to be moving to Brooklyn, and the Yidden are moving to Eretz Yisrael.
Especially when Ben Gvir is there. Come
How
on,
about,
Ben Gvir.
I say better Siberia.
Okay, wherever they like.
I think Greece.
Okay. Din Arba Amas b'Shus Rabim. Kol Adam Yesh Lo Daled Amas b'Shus Rabim Shefli Talkal Bahem. A person has 4 cubits in a Shus Rabim. It's probably about 6 feet, as we said before. It's usually about 1.5 feet, according to the Bavram Chaim Noah. Shenem Shvu is Tachta V'Lomda B'Kabbalah Shezesh Nema Linyan Tiltal Shalel Taltal Kol Adam Shus Rabim K'midas Tachta. When it says in the pasuk Shvu Yish Tachta,
What's the
Tzif Aleph. That means you should stay in your place. You shouldn't carry out of your Daled Amas. What's the his midah? How big is a person? Kimidas oirach gufe shu gimel hams. Va'ama kedei libshet lo yoda veraglo. Lefikach moiden loy ba'ama shaloi. How big it's his ama? Dahainem imarpikoi. Shekoinim elam boigen. Adroish etzba arucha nikra ama al shem zeh. So this finger is called the amma. In general, this is called the etzba. This is the amma. This is the kmitza. The baby is the zeres. And this is gudel. Yeah.
Agudam.
Huh?
Agudam.
Agudel. Yeah. Hagodel lefi godle vakoten lefi kotnei. Sharei b'dal dam shlo yesh b'em ketep shita seirach gufe v'yad v'ragel pimonanas v'ayvarev if he's small. Then a shamos a ketana v'gufe godel. Nimmt sich shalei aspikel dal mois v'esel damash and bein nisha kol adam shkolachim shishat v'achim. So a person that's small, the minimum a person gets is 4 times 6 tvachim. But a person who's taller gets more. Is a bench when I'm bench when I'm a shloi moidnos and mit Thomas lach. Arba am shamar him velachsoin. Al damas is really more than dal damas. The haina alachsen al shein dal damas because if you have a perfect square, so you get much more than dalet. Here is dalet is 4, but here you get much more, right? So you get a little more. Hey amas begimul chum sheyama.
How do we know a tall person gets more?
What do you mean? How do we know to poor person gets more?
Well, because his reach is more.
Because his reach is more. We said how big the person is.
Okay.
So the average person we said is 3 amma plus the amma. So we're not going to start measuring every person. We're just measuring a small person. We're giving him 4 ammas of 6 tvachim, and a big guy we measure from here to here. If it's a little, say if it's 7 tvachim, so we'll give him 4 times 7 tvachim. And 5 ammas, you give him an extra 1 amma and 3/4 and 2 and 3/5. Lefi shebemigdash she'arim she'murabayim v'yesh b'hem zavis she'nem arei nemar b'hem pas negav v'pei zavis v'nemar zeh lachem. That when they made they counted, they looked at the cities in Eretz Yisrael. They made square boxes around the city. V'doshcham kazeh yir kol shev she'Shabbos k'gon she'seyochit shem dal yir gam k'meru b'shetena boy zavis v'chen apayim shel tchum Shabbos she'hein merubayim v'lo yagulish k'dei she'yistaker azavis Same thing when you do a Tchum Shabbos. You measure it, but then you make a box. So there's a little extra space. So say in the country when today in the Catskills they have professionals, they'll come and they'll measure some clusters of bungalows or things that are close, and then how far could you walk for Tchum Shabbos, and they'll put up charts in the bungalow colonies. So you, besides the 2,000 amma, you get a little extra because you get the alachsim, they make a square. So whenever you make a square, say the bungalow colony is right here, and you make a square, so to here it's 2,000 amma. But if you're going on alachsim, you're getting more. You're getting a little extra.
Further, yeah.
You go 2,000 from the edge of the
Yeah, you get the edge, or if there's
the edge of the square. You say
no from
the
here.
middle?
Yeah,
Oh, because that's the center of the city.
no, they
Center.
start from the walls of the city.
Oh,
So they say it's here it's 2,000, but here it's a little more, right? So they give you a little more space,
oh,
a little.
the thing in the middle. That's the wall.
Yeah, here I made walls for the city right here. The
That's
wall,
the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you measure.
and they
2,000,
count
yeah.
2,000, 2,000, 2,000,
Plus
2,000.
another $1
Plus, no, whatever. Plus, it always ends up about a third more on the corners. And whenever you have a box like this, and you're gonna measure perfect distance on all four sides, well, you're gonna make a box. Otherwise, really, what you're supposed to do is make a circle. You see, if you really wanted to have equal distance of 2,000 am on each side, you'd make a circle around,
When you make it simple, much less.
and you'd have much less.
So
But
you're
we
getting the corners. So
we want you to gain the corners.
in the circle and the square is the corners.
Right, the difference is the corners, exactly. So you gain a little extra over here in the corners. So Chazal wanted that you should gain the corners. So just like in the picture of the city, the 2,000 amas, that we don't make a circle, we make a square box. The same thing the daled amas that a person has around them.
Rabbi, who was expert in Alpine Amma? Acher, was Rabbi Meir.
Oh, right,
So,
exactly.
He was
Very-
very expert.
Yeah, exactly. כדי שיסתכל זה וגם בעבוד הדלת אמס ברשות הרב בשלושה ריבוע, ועיגול צורך של שם הלחצן של ריבוע, שהלחצן העודף שיש במשך המרבע מחמץ הזוביס. So you get a little extra. ויש משם שמעל אמס עד גימל חיים שם פוטר אבל עושים דברי ספרים.
On the page.
Turn the page, yeah. ויש לאחר של דברים, על תוך דלס מותר לכתחילה ואפילו ליטל מתחילוס דלת לניר בסוף דלת רק של היוצא חוץ לדלת. So the second opinion is more machman. He says when you have the four amas, say you're standing right over here, so the truth is we do make a circle. We make a circle and we make a square. We say like this, whatever's in the circle, which is equal distance to where you're standing, 4 amas in every direction. So I'm sorry, 2 amas in every direction. So you have 2 amas, or like a circle you have, and that your mamish allowed to carry. Your mamish allowed to carry, but in whatever's going in the edges in the boxes, it's you're not gonna give the person mouth because you're gonna punish a person for it. But it's not permissible really to use it. So. Heavy balicha achas. Avlim omed betecht alet b'chozev v'holach potter.
When we say when you stop this bottle, like let's say you can't feel it, you go when you stop. How would you have to stop?
He's saying it has to stop as much as it takes, not to fix up your packages, but to actually that you're resting up, not to catch your breath.
Minute?
Nah, yeah, unless you're out of breath.
20 amas, but every dollar amas stop.
Right.
1 minute, then
So he says, I'm a person that carries 4 amas. If he walks 3.5 amma, he stops, and then he goes another 3.5 amma, and he stops. He keeps on stopping every less than 4 amas. Potter. Then he stopped because he wants to rest.
Last time we talked about Tatsi Shir. How does Tatsi Shir fit in?
We're not. You'll see soon. We're not. You'll see. There's a issa that Rabbanon here. But if he stopped because he wanted to fix the package on his hand, on his back, that is a mahalach. That the stopping does not consider as if he stopped it. My divrei soifrim. The Rabbanon said that also loitze chayfetz chutz ladal adam is afilu b'yoymed or yoishev lafush. The Chacham said it's also for you to carry something out of your dal adamas, even if you're going to stand, even if you sit down and you'll eat a banana, you rest up, doesn't matter. We don't. It's also to take out chutz ladal adamas toich dal adamas afilu manich chayfetz ba'oretz toich dal v'choyz malicha. Even if you're going to take the whole chayfetz and put it on the ground, doesn't matter. We're scared that you're going to forget next time and you're going to just start carrying things. I feel like Carmelis goes through all that. There's a kula by Benesh Moshe, so it's not a real Rishus Rabim. It goes as a becomes filled by the shoes. If it's Benesh Moshe, then it's a Carmelis, it's so fine. How will Rishus Rabim, if it's a real Rishus Rabim, goes through all that. Benesh Moshe, filled by the mitzvah. If it's a real Rishus Rabim, forget about it. There's no coolest. It's not a Rishus Rabim. We spoke Sunday morning about what's the defining thing that makes it a Rishus Rabim or Carmelis. Because Shulchan says that most places today is not a Rishus Rabim. We said that the truth is today, big cities like New York probably is a Rishus Rabim. So in a Rishus Rabim, there's no leniency. But in a Carmelis, we're maple in the time that's Ben Hashmoshes. That they said even if it's Ben Hashmoshes, even though mitzvah, we're not going to be makel to let one person do akid and one do anocha. Next year we'll talk about this a little more. It's the bottom line. So Minat Torah and also Midrabanan within the circle of Dal Adamas around you, you're allowed to carry. You can pick it up from here, put it there. It's no problem. Even if it's a public domain, if a real Rishus Rabim, the Dal Adamas, as I said before, is your Rishus. It belongs to you. Dal Adamas, like I said in the introduction, the Shir, belongs to you for Oira Chaim and for Yoredeya and for Choshe Mishpat and for Even Ezer. It belongs to you. If a woman got her get into Dal Adamas, if you've got a chayfetz near your coin, the Dal Adamas belongs to you. So you're allowed to carry chayfetz.
What does that mean, belongs to you?
It's like your house, it's like your dining room.
Somebody comes into your house, it's all your property?
I mean,
Belongs to you, like someone comes in your space?
yeah.
Do you acquire that possession?
Yeah, whatever comes in there. Yeah. You acquire it. If it's hefken, I mean,
I walk in Sudan, they have $1 on the floor. Right? If it's in my $1, it's mine. Get mine.
That's a more complicated question.
so, yeah.
If the person forgot that they lost it, or 30 days, or
But the point is,
if it's ownerless,
because it's next to me,
Whatever it is, exactly. If it's something which is hefken, it's in your Dal Adamas, yours.
and generally after 30 days, things are hefker.
Whatever. Money is hefken. As money does is huge.
The question is if it's yours and you left from there and somebody came to
So then you
and something there can tell him it's mine.
it's not you.
Okay.
You stand, that's
So we have to get
Oh, in that
You stand.
moment.
right.
When you
That
stand,
moment.
then-
What about
So-
sitting on-
So back to what we're talking now in Hilchos Shabbos. So in the circle here, you could carry, no problem. But if you want to do a trick that you're going to carry a few blocks by walking less than Dal Damas at a shot, so really, Minat Torah, there's nothing wrong. Minat Torah, it's all fine. But the Rabbanon don't want that you should end up taking the object a couple of blocks, because then accidentally you're going to start carrying a Shabbos.
How does that work? Just like you do a few steps? Like,
Yeah, you go some
like,
steps.
Like how many steps can you stop? Like,
You would take like 3 steps, be safe. 3 steps,
Stop.
stop. 3 steps, stop. If you keep on doing that, you could carry 10 blocks. Minat Torah. And if a person really does it, and even though the witnesses warned him not to do it, and he did it, he's not going to get punished. But the Rabbanon don't want him to do it.
how far can you go like that?
Doesn't matter. You can go till Tchum
You
Shabbos.
go right to Siberia?
Yeah,
Oh, only
Well,
2,000 amos?
right, 2,000 amos. But if you keep on building cities from here to Siberia, you'll be able to walk from here to Siberia.
Take you like
Also
7
a
years.
bridge. You have to build a few cities and a few bridges.
But the problem is, I'm sure according to the Rabbanan is, let's say you go 10 cycles of 3 steps, and you made a mistake. You went a 4-step.
Right, that's why the Rabbanon were
Right.
worried about this. Exactly. Here the Rabbanon didn't have any objection.
There's no Akia.
And the Alter Rebbe holds that this doesn't have to be only for Dvar Mitzvah. Even if it's for Dvar Rishus, the Rabbanon have no objections. If you want to take a baby, and you you thought you take the baby to shul, and they're going to walk, because the baby stopped walking. All of a sudden the baby got stubborn, and the baby doesn't want to walk. So you could carry the child 3 steps, and give it to the next person, 3 steps, and you keep on going that way.
If you're by yourself,
Then you get hacked the herring.
get stuck.
If there was, that's a separate issue. That's has to do with the Tchum Shabbos. And this object is in the Tchum, it belongs in the Tchum. You take it, and then you can't move it. Elim Kain who hefke who chayfet shel hefke shein kana shvitz klau. Then makes no difference. The Tchum Shabbos is not relevant. But this is not. The main thing is to keep in mind is the Hilchah Shabbos. Tiltel, this will only work within the Karmelis, within a Rishus Harabim, but not to take it from a Rishus HaYochid to a Rishus Harabim. Afilim echad, oimid b'fnim v'echad b'chutz. V'zeh sheb'fnim moish tachefet, v'zeh sheb'chutz noitel. Miyod shezeh oikir v'zeh maniach. Even if they're doing like what we had in the Mishnah. The rich man and the poor man. One does the Akira, one does the Anocha. So, no one did it. No one did the crime. One guy did the Akira, the other guy did the Anocha. They were not Machal Shabbos. No. Avul B'kein, awesome. They say from us. We learned yesterday in the Gemara that the Rabbanon said it's going to be awesome. I feel a Karmelis. I feel a Dvar Mitzvah. Okay, Mishum B'zayin Kisvei Kodesh. There is an exception about Kisvei Kodesh. So that was a big part of what we learned yesterday in the Gemara, that there are Surei D'Rabbanan, besides when he holds his hand flat, which I spoke about it last week and we saw it yesterday. But if a person does Akira and the other guy does Anocha, so the Rabbanan said you're not allowed to do that. And if a person does it, it violated Isser D'Rabbanan. He was in violation of a Din D'Rabbanan. So there's like each man has a circle. So but the two circles meet up like this. So the 2 circles are meet up a little bit. Okay. So if you have three people, so the middle guy could share with the people on the side, but the 2 guys on the side, they have to stay in their part.
If I'm in the forest and I have a sleeping bag, I have to stay within 6 feet on Shabbos.
No, the carrying chilek.
Right.
Yeah, the
I have to
carrying.
go down,
Yeah,
make
the
my
carrying.
Over here, I have to make my pull over here. And
Yeah. Okay. That's gefährlich.
By the way, it's very interesting you say that. In 2011, over July 4th, we stayed in a particular area. We had a minyan. They brought a Sefer Torah, and we didn't move from that area. I didn't know the halachot, but it's very similar to what you were speaking about.
How can people travel Friday and delayed? And the plane land.
this is the guys.
The plane land and Shabbos. You go out to the plane.
What about if you jump in the lake and they're coming out with the water? Is that
I just want to do now a focus on our thing,
okay?
and then we'll see if
This
we
is
have
the
time.
Alter Rebbe speaking.
This is
now?
Alter Rebbe. Yes. So
And how does this differ from the regular?
I don't know. I didn't see what other the person say. So there's Shara Kavonas brings a few times that the Arizal, he says that the Arizal told him very strongly that the Big Day Shabbos and Big Day Choil have to be different. He says, "V'da kimoiri or Arizal izirani binyan zeh v'hu sheyizor sheshum min malbush ke'etzem v'chol ma shelo v'shadam b'me'achoil ein roi lov sheb'Shabbos." And afilu acholot shel Shabbos ein roi lov sheb'me'achoil. Okay.
It's included on the-
Oh, this is included sound. Oh, so here, this is what I want to talk about now, because I wanted to, we're learning a little bit tough halachas. I want
This is Chaim Vital.
Chaim Vital. Okay, so now there's an interesting shaila in the Ben Ish Chai, and this is mentioned in other svarim too. The Ben Ish Chai describes in Baghdad a certain type of shoe that they wear, like a Shabbos shoe. Anyway, he says like this. There are those that are noyig that Shabbos and Choil, they have different begodim. Everything should be different. So he asks, so how about shoes? You need to have Shabbos shoes. Little girls always need to have Shabbos shoes. But the question is, for me and you, what's the difference? Shabbos shoes, weekday shoes. So is there a special inyan to wear Shabbos shoes? So the Ben Ish Chai says that he thinks Batsam that no, because we say in the morning we say separate bracha for Malbish Arumim and Shasli Kol Tzorki. So we see that shoes is not betoich, is not called a Malbush. So Chacham said Shaloya Malbush Shabbos Malbush Shal should have a special Malbush. Okay, that could include everything. You should try to have a different belt. But shoes not b'chlal. But there's a pella yoyitz achidas faket. So there's a beautiful sefer Kitzur Shulchan Aruch and Hilchos Shabbos called Mincha Shabbos. The Moshe Shmuel Berenstein. You ever saw it? Mincha Shabbos, a very good sefer on Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. So he brings from
It's not enough.
sometimes you want a little more arichas. So he brings from a sefer Neze Yisrov Matisyo Erbach a geschmack achap. Alom des achap poshet. The Gemara says in Shabbos in the Perek Vov, it's a Mishnah. Lo yitzar the mesandel hamasumah b'Shabbos. Why? The Gemara says in Shabbos a story that there was a time of sakona. And Jews were hiding in caves. There's three different versions of the story. It was in a cave, or it was in a Beis HaKnesses, or it was in another cave. And they were scared of the enemies. And all of a sudden, there was a stampede, that the Olam thought that the enemies are coming. The enemies weren't even coming. But because they were all wearing these shoes that had these sandal of Masumar, that had these nails sticking out in the back, so they trampled each other, and Bahorgu says,
Wow.
so the funny thing is that there was time, because Zman Hashma, that Jews lived in caves. So I was talking today to a cousin. I don't know if ever in my life it's a long conversation, but he was in no parnasa, because his whole parnasa was he was a tour guide in Eretz Yisrael. So what happened? COVID. And no more parnasa, so he found himself a job somewhere. Anyway, now I hope he'll go back to being a tour guide. It's a specialty in Eretz Yisrael to find a tour guide who is a religious Jew, and is not only, but is also is familiar with everything that's in Chazal. Not just many of us have been in certain tours.
They have a lot of tour guides religious.
Yeah.
By my daughter.
So my cousin was telling me about a certain route that he does. It was, I remember which year, it's maybe 27 years ago. We were in Yerushalayim. It was Yom Yerushalayim. So usually it's a little dangerous to go in the Arab quarter. We were walking the Arab quarter, and he met someone he didn't meet for years. The guy was wearing a big M16. And the guy says to my cousin, "Do you know where Ma'arat Chizkiyahu is?" Cousin said, "The guy knows every rock in Eretz Yisrael."
Next to Shloshman.
These Marosov.
No, his name is Goldberg, Honey Goldberg. I'll plug in now for his business. But Even if you try to hire him now, he's in Idaho. He doesn't. But when he goes back, he's terrific tour guide.
Wow.
So the problem is that Mekanish Danangain, it's houses, Arab houses all around. So he said, yeah, if you want to come with us, if you want to come with us. We knocked on doors, no one's answering. One door we knocked, an Arab opened up the door. He was like stunned. And this guy with his he walked into the house, and went to the window, and then we figured out in the middle of the chutzah, it was just like
Was
a
there a
cesspool.
memorial for this guy? Was there any symmetry?
No, it was like,
That's
soda cans are floating there.
You saying
Soda
that's his
can.
burial? That's his burial?
No, there's a whole story in the
Hey.
Gemara that he
Hey.
diverted. No, he diverted waters. That he diverted waters in Yerushalayim. Question is if that's
Wow.
no. Brechat.
No, the spring of
He's
this guy.
talking about
Brechat.
He said Ma'arat.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. Merat Chizkiyo is near Shechem. No. Brechat. I know it's fake. Okay, but what's the difference? For a long time, people thought that this is the place that he diverted the water. Now it turns out it's a cesspool with a couple of Arabs throwing there some soda cans. But for a long time, people thought that was real. Okay, it's good enough. It's a place in Yerushalayim. Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, so my cousin was telling me that around Bet Shemesh, I forget where, that he used to do a tour. He says hundreds of caves. He says some of them look the opening of the cave. There's no marking for them, but the opening of the caves are they look like they're opening for a mouse hole, like mamish, and they would do it with young groups. You'd have to climb off alafir, push it to krich with the light, and then you would get deep in the cave, and all of a sudden there were big rooms. He says, I can't describe to you. I would, it would be a lot of fun to take your kids, but I can't tell you how to get to I have to go with you to show you where it is. He says there's hundreds of such caves.
Next to the gym.
It's close to Marat and Netifim, but he told me that I can't. He says go to Marat and Netifim. It's very nice, but he's saying that there are tour guards that they know every rock in Eretz Yisrael. So the thinking is, I said, how do you know? So the truth is, you don't know. But obviously, these ma'arot that have a narrow way going in, and when you go in, there's huge or lefierech different rooms. And some of them they found pottery, v'chulu. So obviously, someone was there, and we know from Chazal that it was b'yemei Hashmad, like in the Gemara Shabbos in Bamei Isha Yoitza. So the Gemara says that b'yemei Hashmad the Yidden were hiding in Ma'aris, and like this. Okay, but that's one person.
I don't know which cave.
For a shekel and a half, you can go into the cave.
Rabbi, in Hebron, the tourist guy took us to Kever, Ruth, and Yishai.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Did you go there?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
So the Gemara says that the Horgus Ebazah. So the Gemara says, so now let's divert for a second to the Yerushalmi. We'll come back to the Bavli a second. So the Gemara says, why is the Gzeira only Shabbos and not B'choil? So basically the Chachamim made a Gzeira. From then on, a Jew is not allowed to wear in Shabbos a shoe that has these nails sticking out. And the Gemara says even after Zman Hashmad, when Jews were not living in caves anymore, they are living in houses in Avenue J. The loy bottle Gzeira, that the tam was bottled, but the Gzeira stays. Huh?
You could still plug grass.
What's if you're not walking in grass still? You're not allowed to wear sandal in the summer on Shabbos. The Gemara says, why on Shabbos? What's the difference Shabbos and Sunday? So the Gemara says, so here is where it gets complicated. The Gemara in Yerushalmi says, well, the shoes of Shabbos and the shoes of Nechol are different. So these are the words of the Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says, V'ata afilu b'choil. And the Yerushalmi answers, Lav urcha nosha meheven leisanden lein chad lechulo v'chad l'shabbat. So now there's a machloik, the pnei Moshe and the Korban Eida. If it was a rhetorical question, it was an answer. One way of learning it is that it was a statement that people don't have two different pairs of shoes. What kind of question are you asking me? Who has two pairs of shoes? Shabbos shoes, Sunday shoes, Monday shoes, Tuesday shoes. You have one pair of shoes you wear for 10 years, and then you buy a new pair. Right. So what are you asking me? Why was the Gzeira Shabbos and not on Sunday? People wear one pair of shoes for 10 years straight. So what kind of question? You asking me a silly question. So that's one answer. The other way, the Pnei Moshe, the Kormeda learns the opposite. To saying that isn't it the derech that people have different shoes, they have Shabbos shoes and weekday shoes, and this story happened on Shabbos, so the Gzeira was only on Shabbos because that's what happened.
Can't turn on the light.
No, you can't wear.
Oh, they can't turn on the lights. It'll be a stampede. They don't know what's coming.
Oh, you're explaining. Oh, that's the shot. I don't know. I hear. You could say whatever because that's the way Ma'aser Shahoya, so that's why they made the Gzeira then. But I hear what you're saying. It's a good svara. But what's the upshot from this? Says the Nezi Yisrael. So this is really a machloikis. If you learn, so basically one pshat in the Yerushalmi is saying, what? You ever heard of a Shigana that has different shoes for Shabbos and Sunday?
Or that's in fact the
other one is
standard.
Exactly
That's the standard.
Exactly that every. So it sounds like, according to the other pshat, that the Gemara says that the common thing is that Jews have different pair of shoes for Shabbos.
Don't be right.
They have Shabbos shoes.
In some
Huh?
communities, in poor communities, it could be that you have one pair of shoes. That's it. In other communities that have some that are more.
Yeah, it's not a
comfortable.
chiyuv. This is not a chiyuv.
No.
This is not. But still,
If your Shabbos it could be different communities have different.
That's it.
different communities have a different pshat. Yeah, it could be some like the Pnei Moshe and some like the Korban Eder. But basically, but this I think is a beautiful chap. That the base to how you learn the Yerushalmi is how you'd say that about Shabbos, that the Anshe Maisa that I'm a doctor to wear Shabbos and weekday different clothing, and the Medayik that should be very different. So if you learn like the Yerushalmi, that the pshat is that people wear the same shoes of Shabbos and weekday. So here you have it. If you say forget that the Yerushalmi said, isn't it that everyone wears different shoes Shabbos and weekday? Huh? So if you want to look in the Alter Rebbe, turn quickly to page Kuf Ayin Aleph. You'll see inside. Turn to page Kuf Ayin Aleph. Just want to show you how
about the sandals. It's an usher.
the Isser to wear shoes that have these spikes, these nails on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not dangerous stuff. It's like dangerous.
It's dangerous, right? Because that's what happened when we were nervous. Then they all tried to go to the back of the cave. Their shoes banged
But
into
sandals
each other.
are okay. I'm sorry.
Why
Yeah,
they have
flip-flops are
smelling
good.
the shoes? Why they have?
Oh, probably because this way the shoes last for a longer time.
I always thought it's talking about cleats.
Right,
You
that's
know
what I
how
thought.
like baseball players.
Like a
wear
grab-
like players. So they're-
Aha. I hear.
They need the shoes that like.
Uh-huh.
So that it gains
It grabs it and it
I hear.
also saves the bottom because it's not touching.
I hear. I was thinking that. So he's saying Beda. Oh, the whole problem. Okay, so look in the page Kuf Ayin Aleph.
How many years on shoes? You bring in the bed and phone fell off the night.
Yeah, the Chinese ninjas.
Something like this.
Okay, so Shailik, you're wearing a Shabbos. Is that called Sandal HaMazumah?
It never gets rollerblades. You put something in the wheels come out.
החייב כל אדם להשתדל שיהיה לו בגודם נועים לשבס, כפי יכולת, שצריך לחייב לשבס ובקצוס נקיר כמו שמדובר בספרש מהבייס. בדברי קבלה נאמר וכיבדתו עם הססר דרכיך.
Which page?
Page Kuf Ayin Aleph.
You know,
So the pasuk says in Yeshaya, "V'chibadetoi," the Chazal Darshan, "V'chibadetoi shelo yeh malbutz v'shavas k'malbutz shachol shechlefenu b'ach she'no mimenu." Shamal b'shnikra kovid, because the Gemara says the Yochanon kon lamanim mechablusa. Shu mechabed es adam shabal makom shemekirin es avrein shu oise shu lovish bigdei chamutz zayim mechabden oise. That's why business people dress nicely. They want to go to business meetings. They want people to think that they're serious people. So they come dressed nicely with a tie, v'chulu, with a nice
But
suit.
it's not chiyuv. It said chayat for them lishtadel. Try. It's not chiyuv.
Right? Okay. ואם אפשר להחליף לפוחץ ישל של גודב, כלפי מטה שיר הארוכים, מידס השירים יש בבייס ונצטרך לנסוע בדם נאורת לשבל המלוכה. That it's a funny thing in some countries, ad hayom, it's that way. So I was in Dubai and I went into a shuk and I went around the stalls and and that was a Pakistani that we bought from him a whole bunch of things. So I asked them, I could see in the shuk that some people, the Bekeshe is azoi, mimasnaim v'adirei chaim, some are longer, some. So what's the gather? So he said that the rule of thumb, but that klal is azoi. Working people, you can't
Maneuver.
you have to move. So you can't have a langa chalat, a rebbe chalat, till the bottom. So it's higher up. The lower, he says, a person that you see mamish until the bottom of their
He's more
feet.
prominent.
He doesn't have to work anyway. Whereas he's never in a rush.
He's like a Kohen Gadol.
He has servants to take care of him. So the longer the beged, the more he's relaxed. He has a dafna shleif in there. So now you see Taka. That's a pshat that the lefochas yishal shebegodav kedap emata shira arukim v'midas hashirim hayoshim beveisam Taka in the Middle East adayoim ve'enav tzrich l'saluk b'gdeim in order b'shvil malacha. So v'kavet Shabbosu. Sorry, you want to say something?
The rabbi in Baghdad used to wear special long, just a story with my grandfather.
Right, the pocket.
With a pocket, yeah.
Mishav shaloi tov shialoi gam talis acher. She have another talis. The yesh anshe ma'isa medaktik in shaloi lilbush b'Shabbos mekom mashalavish b'chor. Afilu ezer umech nasayim v'chaluk v'toiv leilach b'ktzaz b'gde Shabbos kol yom adachar avdol b'mitzvah Shabbos. You have to remember, this is yesh anshe ma'isa. They say that the Alter Rebbe, that the Rabbi said that the Alter Rebbe, when he was in jail, them gar nicht gefällt. Shem Tov came to visit the Maggid, they learned that them gar nicht gefällt. So someone asked, but L'chayri didn't have Big Day Shabbos. So Friedrich Rebbe said he did have Big Day Shabbos. He said that we have a Kabbalah that they didn't have, when they had socks, they didn't have rubber bands, they didn't have elastic like we have socks that hold our socks up. So they used to have bendlach to hold up their socks, just like string. Exactly by Gerech Siddim. Yeah. So exactly.
Yeah.
They get it Eben Thomas Jefferson. So yeah.
Yeah, I remember not only Ger, all Hasidic kids would have.
Right. So the Alter Rebbe pulled out from the bottom of his jacket a whole bunch of strings, and every Shabbos before Shabbos,
Pulled up his socks.
right, he pulled up his socks with the. So he didn't have Beged Shabbos, but Anshe Ma'isa Medaktik that all the begodim should be different. A person should be totally different. Anaya mensch, because your begodim are mechabed you, and this is mechabed Shabbos. That I'm a new person. I'm a new man. I'm a Shabbos dike man. So it's interesting in the Lashon the Alter Rebbe he says afilu ezer, afilu michnasayim, afilu chaluk. That's mashma, not shoes.
Who's saying that?
The Alter Rebbe is saying that if you want to be medaktik, you should change even your pants, but he doesn't say even your shoes. That's mashma a little bit from the Alter Rebbe, like the Ben Ish Chai, that it's a nice thing if you could change everything, but shoes is not begeder levush. Shoes is a different thing. It's not a malbush.
What about if you shine your shoes?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Everything you do look at Shabbos is beautiful. But still, the idea of Big Day Shabbos doesn't go so much on the shoes.
The Kohanim was not wearing shoes at all.
Right. So
This time they didn't have sneakers. Okay, after they.
What do you mean?
exactly.
Oh yeah.
It's good not to be on the ground.
On the connect with it.
Thank you, Rabbi.